Natural for all these shearers and wool handlers to, as soon as the summer's finished in New Zealand, they will be straight on a plane, okay, and straight overseas to the UK, for example, and will be shearing over there within a day and a half. So a day and a half on a plane, back on a board somewhere in Scotland or the UK or Wales. You would have done that too, Mary. I've sort of done a wee bit of it myself. Do the long haul flights. A day and a half later, you're on another shearing board, another summer. Didn't get to play much rugby in those days because you weren't home enough to play rugby. You didn't have many winters.
I think that's the bonus of it, Gerald, is you miss out on the winter.
Yeah, that was the bonus. You did right, yeah. Yeah, the only downside was the rugby side because you'd come home and the rugby season was just about wrapped up. But a funny thing, of course, if you can be very, very fit to shear and sheep. Did you play much rugby, Tuma? Because shear and sheep, you'd say, well, I'm fit as fit, but you're actually mainly fit for shear and sheep. I was a back, and you could, when you started to try to run, even though you're as fit, you just couldn't get moving. Just couldn't. I could touch my toes and put my palms and my hands on the ground, as if to say, really, really fit that way, but couldn't get the legs to get going, to get some speed up. So it'd take you half a season to get organised. So there's a little bit of trivial information, but sometimes quite interesting. And of course, back in the day before that, a good mate of mine, and he is here, he might be in the audience, mate of mine come up from Invercargill yesterday, JJ Kringle. The Golden Shears has invited a lot of people up who've done 40 years service to the shearing and wool handling industry. So they've got them all up here. They're probably just dotted around the place. I don't know whether JJ's here. JJ, you here, mate? Not yet. Yeah, so they've got them all here. 40 years of service. That's a lifetime's work, isn't it? So they're just dotted about as well. But in JJ's day, they were real men that had a big desire to shear sheep. When he went over to shear in the UK, it took him 6 weeks on a boat. Up the Panama, down the Suez and the likes. So in our day, Tuma, it was a day and a half and we were up there shearing. Well, JJ was on a boat for 6 weeks, cruising around trying to get to the UK. We're good to go. Are we good? We'll get them. All right, we'll get her underway. Hope you enjoyed those couple of little stories. Right, now this is a two-heat final. Good morning to Norm Haraway. He's joining the commentary box once again here this morning. Good to have you on board again, Norm. Giving up, two-heat final, blue ribbon, highly sought after ribbon from the Golden Shears. Give it up for Sarah Higgins from Marlborough. Come up, Sarah. Stand 6. From Masterton, Sean Gock. Come on up, Sean. Napier, Ricky Stevens. Tegwin Bradley's here from Woodville. Laura Bradley from Woodville. And Lionel Tomata from Gore. Heat 1 that will be. Remembering this is a two-heat final.
So heat number 1, this is a final, Gerald, is that how it's all working? So it's a two-heat final. The winners will be taken out of these two heats. And this the Cooper's Animal Health sponsored New Zealand Young Farmers Blue Ribbon shearing event. Some very good names, shearing names up here on the stage. Referee, please. Referee.
So we've got 2 heats of this Young Farmers Blue Ribbon, and then we've got our senior shearing coming up, a senior shearing semi. Sean, Ricky, Lionel, Tegwin, Jacob and Kieran Devane are going to turn around and shear pretty quickly. And heat 2, Naki Maraki, Varney Stringer, Jade Maguire, Laura Bradley, Rehana Hokianga, Ross Thompson. Heat 3, Barney Cummings, Paul Swan, Ramon Smith, Cody Gregg, David Gordon and Connor Puha.
Yeah, that won't worry these guys. They've got to get off and wait for the next heat and shear again. They'll be still warm from the first round, so they'll be quite happy about that, I'd imagine. So just waiting for the referee to get things sorted out, and we will be underway very shortly. Heat number 1 of the New Zealand Young Farmers Blue Ribbon Shearing Final. This one proudly sponsored by Cooper's Animal Health, and a big thanks to Cooper's and all. Here's our number 1 wool handler up on the big screen above the shearers, ladies and gentlemen, giving the crowd a wave. Future world champion. So Laura just getting rid of that one as well. These shearers have the right to ask the referee to get rid of a sheep if they don't think it's up to scratch. Replace it with another one, and if the referee agrees, then it's fine. We'll just replace it. All the competitors want is a fair go. They don't want a rougher sheep in their pen when everyone else has got good sheep. This is quite a prestigious event, this one. This is for the ribbon. This is sort of where it all started. Morgan, way back in the old days, the YFC shearing event.
First of our finals for today. They've all earned a Young Farmers finalist singlet.
Okay, we have the thumbs up from the referee. The points team are all set to go. Everyone's on the board. Cooper's Animal Health with New Zealand Young Farmers Blue Ribbon Shearing. Heat number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Timekeepers ready. Competitors set, go. And away we go with the first of 6 of these second shear ewes. Out on the board we have some very, very handy shearers up there. Lionel Tomata from Gore in the deep south. Way down the belly he goes. Laura Bradley. No stranger to the bright lights of the shearing board. On stand at number 2, she winds into the first hind leg. Good couple of very good female shearers up there this time round. Tegwin Bradley, her brother on the stand behind her, and stand number 3. Also from Woodville, Ricky Stevens. Last night, Ricky Stevens on stand number 4. I think he won the triathlon last night. Was it the triathlon? Gerald, did you see that?
He won last year. Ricky was the champion for the triathlon last year.
No, it was Jeremy Goodger won the triathlon, but
yeah,
Ricky was up there in the wool pressing final. That's what it was, the wool pressing final. So here he is in the blue ribbon shearing final. And Sean Gauk behind him on stand number 5. Down the last side he comes. In goes Lionel for a second, and goes Tegwin for a second. And rounding up the field down there on stand number 6, Gerald, last night's quality, senior grade quality winners was Sarah Higgins from Marlborough. So She's just working her way out on the hind lead. Fantastic shearer, Sarah Higgins is. And great to see her win the women's quality prize as well as the senior overall quality prize.
Yeah, very much so. Watching a little interview with Hilary Barry, and it was quite an interesting point she made, where there's hardly any other sport in the world where the men and women are just equals on the board. In this case, or on a court or on a field, whatever it might be. And there's no segregation. So, and they hold their own, as you can see. And it's over the years, a few of them have had to, you know, develop it, I suppose, and say, yeah, it's okay to do this. And then more and more female shearers have arrived, and their skill level and their strength and everything, all that dedication, it's always been there, has arrived as well. And here they are, taking points away and all sorts of things like that. So, yeah, I found that a very interesting point where there was no segregation here on the shearing board. So you are a shearer. Okay, you're one of the shearers. In this case, you're on stand 6 or 2. Okay. Yeah, so Lionel Tomata, he is on fire here this morning. He says, right, no, this is a Golden Shears ribbon and I'm after it big time. 2 heats of this. I've got to treat this like a final. He's actually very, very zoned in here. He's not thinking about anything else but his job. You can see his demeanour is right there, right now. He's not worried about what he had for breakfast or what's happening at home. This is it. This is my moment. I'm just going to get totally focused. Into the base of the ear, he fires. Bradley. Laura, this is. Down to the fertiliser works, we call it. And 2 whopping big blows up the undermine. Quite a woolly one there, all around the face. See that bit of wool in around the face here? Needs a big top knot off up around the ears. Okay, you think, oh, that doesn't possibly mean that much. Well, it just cost her 2 or 3 blows. And at this level, yeah, that's just another 2 or 3 blows you've got to do. And it comes down to crossing the T's and dotting the I's, or the rats and mice, as they call it. Those little bits that need to be right. And there she goes. She's still cleaning that head up. Laura says, right, been there and done that. Now, normally if the head's like that, of course, there's a wee bit more work to do in and around the sheep, because that there pattern normally goes in and around the legs and the likes. So should we please to get this one out of the way? There we go. The only plus side is normally they've got a lot of wool around their head. They're normally a wee bit more docile, and they'll sit well for you. So if you can just get into it, and then it's nice and relaxed all the way around, you won't lose any time whatsoever. She puts out a little beauty. Look how pink that is. How are the judges out the back going to see anything there as far as a little cut or a scratch or a little ridge of wool or a little tassel left on here and there? They're going to have a magnifying glass. And of course the rules are, when you're a judge, you can't create it. If you can't see it, don't go looking for it. Tegwin Bradley from Woodville. He'd be enjoying this too. Round and up and over the last shoulder he goes. Flicking the handpiece here and there. Ricky Stevens, he's busy every year at the Golden Shears, and his year is absolutely no different. Was in the triathlon, as he always is, and as we're saying, he won it here last year. While he was doing the triathlon, he had to go in the pressing. Okay, the pressing is part of the triathlon, and due to a really good press, he ended up in the big pressing final last night up here, which was absolutely brilliant if you didn't happen to make it here last night. So he was up against Vinny Goodger. Vinny managed to pull it off, but Ricky really held his own and done himself really, really proud. On the journey home he goes too. A bit of dancing going on down there, Norm, for Sam Gock. He says, sit still, baby.
I don't think she'll be much heavier.
I haven't got much to go.
So Ricky Stevens backs out on the board there. Gerald, another sheep on the board for Ricky, and away down the belly he rolls. So some very, very tidy shearing here is Laura Bradley's. Ooh, and it's off. No, she's got it. Wasn't going to get away from her. And her brother just moves out of the way for her. And she's in and out of the pen. It's the shearer's responsibility, of course, to put it out the hole. They can lose points if they lose the sheep down the board, and it affects other shearers. It's up to the referee at the end of the day. But she didn't let that worry, because she's whipped the belly off the next one in good time. Sheep number 5 on the board. Lionel Tomata hops in for 6th and final sheep. And Tegwin Bradley's there as well. Way down the belly for Tegwin, the big fella on stand. Number 3 wipes the belly wool off. The welly bull. Ricky Stevens turns for home on sheep number 5. Last side time, and he's got one waiting for him in the pen. Sean Galk round the first front shoulder. Lean, mean shearing machine down there on stand number 5. Whips up the backbone. Sarah Higgins steps up and through. She'll be a bit of a threat with her quality award she won last night. Just proves that she is a fantastic quality shearer. It's not all about speed. And Sarah has the ability to make a very, very good job. Laura Bradley down over the last front shoulder on sheep at number 5. On stand 2, another few blows, and she'll be looking for a last sheep. But Lionel and Tegwin, sheep 6 it is on the board for them. Down the last side, pause Tegwin Bradley. Big sweeping blows right out to the toe. Another couple of shots. He'll be looking for the wee red button behind him. That'll stop his clock. Bang, there it is. Well done, Tegwin. First finished in heat number 1 of the Blue Ribbon event. And Lionel Tomata from Gore, time clock stopped there as well. Well done, Lionel. Laura Bradley on the board with sheep number 6. Sarah Higgins, another few shots down that last side. She'll clear the leg off, and she'll be in for sheep number 6 as well. Ricky Stevens, long blow time for Ricky. And way up through the backbone. Another one he'll turn for home. And he wipes the cheek off. Sarah Higgins hops in, 6 on the board. She's going to have the last say in this final, in this heat of this final. And Laura Bradley up into the base here, around the back of the head. Another very good female shearer. Some fantastic woman shearers around the country at the moment. Great to see. And yeah, Gerald, it is unique in our sport to have the woman competing with the men on the same playing field too. But that's the way it should be in here. So Ricky Stevens done and dusted, sheep number 6, and Sean Galk out the hole it goes. And down comes Laura Bradley. Cleans off under the leg, and away down the last side she'll pour. And Sarah Higgins down the far stand, just working away around and through the front shoulder, just stroking the wool off the front leg and into the long blow now. Laura has to bring the head through to keep it under control. That's all good, and over the tail she rolls, and out it goes. Red button time for Laura Bradley. Last side for Sarah. Half a dozen shots down the side of the sheep, and she'll be looking for the red button as well. Great to see Sarah here. She's from Marlborough, this girl. Got her own shearing contracting run up in Marlborough. Employs a handful of shearers up that way and keeps them busy. And I guess she's got the boys working down home while she's up here shearing a couple of sheep and having a good time. Give them a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Heat number 1 in the Young Farmers Blue Ribbon Shearing event. Proudly sponsored by Cooper's Animal Health. So Morgan, we have one more heat. It is a 2-heat final, this one, so we must have the next 6 shearers ready to come up on the board.
On stand 6, Corny Roberts. 5, Ethan Pankhurst. 4, Turi Edmonds. 3, Floyd Neal. 2, Jack Fagan. And 1, Jimmy Samuels.
So we might see the pace hot up a wee bit this time. These open grade shearers, a lot of these boys, or all of these boys actually. Jimmy Samuels, Jack Fagan, Floyd Neal, Turi Edmonds, Ethan Pankhurst and Brett Roberts. So this is a very good lineup of shearers here, Gerald.
Yeah, there is, Norm. I think looking in your book, if you've got a book and look at last year, I'm very sure Jack Fagan is the reigning champ here in this event last year. So, as I say, it's very sought after ribbon, as they always are at the Golden Shears. So once again, they'll have a wee look in their pen and just make sure there's no unfair disadvantage with a particular sheep. And then they'll be under, they'll call the ref if that's the case, and they'll be under the watchful eye of Neil Sidwell. Will have a bit of a look and say, no, that's okay, mate. it's good to go. We've been through these sheep numerous times.
I think those two girls have set a real quality benchmark for these open shearers to beat, because those sheep were beautifully shorn in heat number 1, Gerald.
Yeah, it's hard to pick them, huh? Like the quality of shearing these days is just so high. And I think Mavis was talking about Woolhandling early this morning on the standard of that, just while we're waiting for the go from the referee. The standard of that, and that's what all the shows is all about. That's why volunteers like us and all these judges and timekeepers and all these people that are involved, all the secretaries, come along here and give up their own time and the likes to improve the industry. And definitely working, because the quality of and standard of wool handling, quality and standard of shearing is at an incredible level. And this will be no different as Brett Roberts says, "See you later, sheep. You're out of here." Brett Roberts, all the way from Matara, made the part of the invitational Tui's team last year, where we had a big final here to put them under the bright lights in a final situation of all the up-and-coming shearers, the ones that we believe, if things go reasonably right, could really start hitting the big time. So he was involved with that too. But he makes quite a lot of open finals down south, doesn't he, Norm? And he does pretty well, and bit of a speed shearer too, rumour has it?
Oh yeah, very good at whatever event you want to put him in. He's top man, all right, no doubt about that. So just waiting for the old referee to give us the thumbs up, and we'll be underway. Have the green light from the points team. Hopefully every event isn't going to take this long to sort out. Thanks very much, Neil. We'll get Brett on the board, please. Down there on stand 5, and Ethan. Is Ethan out there? Okay, guys, at the doors. Okay. Thank you. If there's no problem, guys, get on the board. Okay, heat number 2 of the Blue Ribbon Shearing event, the Young Farmers event. Timekeepers ready. Competitors set, go. And away we go, in and out of the pen. This is not the open final, folks, but these guys will treat it as such. They're competitive-natured guys, every single one of them. And off the belly comes for Jimmy Samuels, turning into the first hind leg. Floyd Neal right there. Tootie Edmonds there. Ethan Pankhurst, a young local man from Masterton, winds his way up the backbone of the sheep. Top of the head they're looking at now. Up comes Brett Roberts on stand 6. Through and up comes Jack Fagan. But Floyd Neal around the back of the head right there with Ethan Pankhurst and Brett Roberts, these young guys. Very, very skillful young man up there on the stage, looking at some of their best young shearers coming up and through. So we're going to see a lot of these guys in open finals around the country in the future, I'm sure. Turning for home is Ethan Pankhurst. Turning for home is Brett Roberts. Sorry, not Brett Roberts, Floyd Neal. Brett Roberts is already there. He's down onto the last front shoulder. Right into the flank though for Ethan Pankhurst. He might be leading the field in for the second sheep. Bit of a quicker time this time. 1 minute and 2-3 seconds gone on the clock as he steps in and out of the pen with sheep number 2. Down comes Tootie Edmonds and Jack Fagan. Jimmy Samuels there, but Floyd Neal, Tootie Edmonds, in they go, these two good friends, and Brett Roberts down there on the far stand. In hops Jack Fagan. Out on the board, he backs Jimmy Samuels on stand number 1 from Martin. Out on the board with sheep at number 2 in about a minute 20 odd, but Ethan Pankhurst, he's swinging up the neck already, ladies and gentlemen, into the base there and around the back of the head. He rolls. Ethan Pankhurst, this young man from Masterton, shearing nicely, just starting to open those big shoulders up, get into a bit of rhythm. Got to smack the first 1 or 2 off and get out in front. That's his ploy, obviously. He means business here. There's only 6, Gerald, so it's a bit of a sprint. And Ethan Pankhurst, he's taking it to the rest of the field as he winds his way round over the last front shoulder.
Yeah, you're right there, Norm. He's on song, right. Got a local home crowd that says okay, and they're starting to hurry them along. I can hear a buzz starting to arrive as Ethan Pankhurst out to the toenails and said, hey, young Brett Roberts from the deep south, catch me if you can. And he dives now for sheep 3. Turai Edmonds says, by jolly Ethan, what do you had for breakfast, mate? As he tidies up the last shoulder, his mate Floyd Neal right beside him. It's finishing touches there, and Jack Fagan, he's on the scene as well. The reigning champion of the blue ribbon. He's in for sheep 3 and just starting to get into his work. Pulls out a little beauty. Starts to go to work on that and buries the handpiece into the belly wall. 3 big shots. Hey, Woolhandler, there you go. There's the belly. You do the work on that because I've got the rest of the feathers to knock off this second shear sheep, and he's doing it well. 2 big shots up the undermine. Jimmy Samuels, the smiling assassin, look at him go. 3 big shots up the undermine. What's that going to mean? It means he's going to have a super duper last side. It's going to be quick. Finger in the old ear and round the back of the ear he goes. What's old Ethan Pankhurst doing? Don't blink, Gerald Spain on the mic because you'll miss his sheep. He's done another one. He's getting warmed up. Ethan Pankhurst, your local boy, says, I'm at the halfway mark. See you later, fellas. Pulls out a big, oh, there's a big buffier one. He's going to have to go to work on that. The door is open a wee bit now. The boys might catch a bit of time on him. Come on, Ethan Pankhurst. Keep the gloves on. Down towards the fertiliser works he goes. 1, 2 big shots up there. Brett Roberts is starting to get into his work. Jack Fagan bends over and pulls out another little beauty. Look at some Master Blaster. Out there, first hind leg for Jack Fagan on stand 2. 1, 2.5, 3. Tidying them up. No Hollywoods here. The top knot comes off. Jimmy Samuels, Norm on the front stand. He'll be enjoying this. Of course, he's got the top 12 to take care of later on this afternoon, so it's a good warm-up for him.
It is, and old Jimmy Samuels, he enjoys most things. Gerald, he's a lovely natured young fella. Way up the undermine, he sweeps. Another couple of shots, he's going to turn for home, making a beautiful job. The bottom tooth's hard down on the skin on stand number 1. Rolling around over the last front shoulder, he's coming back at Ethan Pankhurst. Ethan Pankhurst slides over the tail, and sheep number 4 is out the hole, but Jimmy Samuels only a few shots back off the pace now. A smaller sheep, this one. He's been able to smoke it out, ladies and gentlemen. He drops it out the hole and in and out of the pen he goes, but Ethan's got the belly off. He's still the belly, and a wee bit of the first hind leg in front of Jimmy as Jimmy reverses onto the board with sheep at number 5. Way down the belly he goes. Jack Fagan changes steel there for Jack. Floyd Neal, he's already done that. Trudy Edmonds on stand number 4. Backs out on the board from Ratahi. Way down the belly he goes, so not a lot between stands 2, 3 and 4. And Brett Roberts changes steel down there on stand 6. A new handpiece, a fresh comb and cutter. So this will hum this one. A wee bit of tension goes on and he piles into the belly. Flicks it out behind him, turning into the first hind leg. The big man on stand number 3 opens up those shoulders and he slams a big sweeping blow down into the first hind leg. Top knot now. Up the neck he steps as Brett Roberts smacks it open and away into the base of the ear. But still Ethan Pankhurst down the last side into the last leg. Jimmy Samuels, where is he? Right in the last shoulder, so he's working hard, pushing the handpiece along. Floyd Neal coming back at them as well. Floyd Neal down the last side, he sweeps and steps. Pankhurst out onto the board, he comes with his 6th and final sheep. Coming to a close here, so these guys know they need to be within striking range, and yes they are. Floyd Neal starting to open up them big shoulders of his. Jimmy Samuels into the and out of the pen he goes. Trudy Edmonds in stand number 4 and for sheep number 6. Right there with Jack Fagan. Floyd Neal winds his way up the undermine now, so he's only a half a shot behind, or a couple of shots behind Ethan Pankhurst. Up the neck he goes. Ethan Pankhurst round behind the head. Floyd Neal into the base here and around behind the head he goes. Pankhurst into the front shoulder. Floyd Neal winds his way into the front shoulders now, but Ethan's hanging on to the lead. Way through the long blow he sweeps. He steps across the backbone. Right up the last side of the sheep he turns into now. The cheek comes off, and Jimmy Samuels got Floyd Neal back down over the last front shoulder. Pause. Jimmy Samuels now he's swinging the handpiece, ladies and gentlemen. Speed share specialist on stand number 1. We've got a wee bit to go back for. Got to keep the judges happy. No point going fast if you're going to rough it up. Right out onto the back leg, but Ethan Pankhurst, ladies and gentlemen, his time clock has stopped. Jimmy Samuels, Floyd Neal like that. Gerald very, very close at the end of the day.
It was close at the end of the day. By Johnny, they started winding Ethan in. They did. The door was ajar there when he pulled out that Woolio one. Turai Edmonds, he's wrapped up. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2-heat final. And stand 2, he's in for the finishing touches, and he's the reigning champion here for the blue ribbon, Jack Fagan. And from the deep south, give it up for Brett Roberts. Right, we're just going to, this will be an instant prize giving, so we'll just have a wee chat to a couple. We'll go for the closest one. We just hold you up there for a minute. Jimmy, do you want to come and talk for a wee minute, buddy? And we can call it racking, packing, and stacking. Where is a gap for us? Wool sheds are always busy. Don't everyone take off. Jack, do you want to wait off? Have we talked to you as well, mate? He's not listening. He says, I'm focused. I've got the zone on. All right, Jimmy. Hey, look, congratulations. Good shear here. Yeah, busy time up here. What I was going to say to you, you made the open top 12. Now, that is, for you youngsters that are working hard, it's not easy to break into that top 12. So talk us through that.
Well, for the past six or 7 years, I've sort of been in the open grade now, and last night was my 5th time in the top 30, so I was sort of looking at making a breakout, like finally making it out of the top 30, and now I'm quite rapt I did. But I love this event as well, the Young Farmers Blue Ribbon event sponsored by Coopers. No, thanks guys, and this is sort of something that all of us young fellas enjoy doing, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. Thanks, Gerald.
Oh, good one. Thank you for supporting all these shows. Brett Roberts from the Deep South here. Look, you've had a tremendous shearing career. You've come through all the grades and stayed at the top. And as a youngster, and still young now, break into these open ranks and making a lot of plate finals and a lot of big open finals. So how do you think your shear went here today?
We'll have to wait and see for today. But yeah, it's been an awesome year this year for us. And well, for us young ones anyway, we're slowly creeping on up, and yeah, we just got to keep at it.
Yeah, that's right, Brett, you do. So what's your, from here, where do you go? Once the Golden Shears is finished and the curtain comes down and we have a couple of beers and a good old chat and a laugh later on tonight, what's your plan? Where do you go as a shearer now?
Head back down south for another week and then back up to mid-Canterbury for a few shows next weekend, and then we'll head on up to Te Kuiti for the last showdown, yeah.
And Jimmy, yourself, what's your calendar? I was talking earlier today, this will be interesting for the audience, talking earlier just how much travelling all you shearers do, you top shearers, how you're travelling the country. It's nothing unusual to be on a plane once a week. So what's your program from here?
Well, usually from here I'd head to Australia and then over to the UK and do the World Shearing Circuit. But this year I'm fortunate enough to have a baby out there, so my plans have changed this year. Stay at home for once. I'll be following the competitions though.
Good man, Jimmy. Congratulations on your baby. Okay, thanks fellas. Right, there'll be an instant prize giving in a wee second once we've got the great thing of technology these days. Once you had to wait to the very end to get all the figures, and it was all done by hand, it was all written down in those days in manual clickers. But now she's all accumulating for you good folk out there, so you have a very good idea what's happening all the time. You got your time points, which is 1 point every 20 seconds. You've got your board points, this is up here. Okay, the outside point's not up, but in general, as sheet gets judged out the back, those clickers have been used out there too, and it keeps folding up here to give you an interactive sort of show. So you can keep an eye up there just to make sure no one's getting a wee bit rough up here and doing what we call a Hollywood. Okay, where they are shearing them real fast but leaving a little bit much on. Yeah, so that's what's happening here. We're still just got to wait on those points, and then we'll do the prize giving. You good to go, buddy? Do you want this mic?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the instant prize giving for the MSD Coopers Animal Health New Zealand Young Farmer Blue Ribbon Shearing. Presenting the award is Sam Higgins, the marketing manager, and he'll just take the opportunity to say a few words. And as we are currently deliberating on the results, the longer the speech, the better.
Okay, make sure you cut me off then if you've got to draw out time. Firstly, thank you very much to the Golden Shears team for actually allowing us the ability to sponsor this event. We've actually been a sponsor on and off for a long time. The Coopers brand's actually 175 years old now, about 125 in New Zealand, and in the first Golden Shears we came on board as a sponsor 58 years ago under a company called Trentham Vaccine Laboratories, which is part of our group. And Trentham Vaccine Laboratories was actually something set up in Upper Hutt in a garage out the back of a small farm by a scientist who identified some diseases in sheep in New Zealand that hadn't been seen around the world and decided to come up with some solutions. That company continues now as MSD Animal Health, and the reason we like to sponsor the Young Farmers event at Golden Shears is because it's the young farmers who are going to set the future of the reputation of the sheep industry in New Zealand. And that becomes really important to us because the strong reputation of the animal welfare, the animal husbandry on New Zealand farms actually gives us as a manufacturer of vaccines enormous access around the world to get the vaccines that we develop, research and try in New Zealand into about 100 different countries in the world. And we would be one of the largest vaccine manufacturers in the global sheep industry. So by being able to support Golden Shears, which is an important component of the animal health and reputation of New Zealand sheep farmers, we're really pleased to see these young guys coming through and ladies coming through to contribute to the future of the industry. I'm assuming you now have the results, so I could stop talking and hand it back to you. But thank you very much for the opportunity to be part of Golden Shears.
Thank you, Sam. I think we'll keep you on. That was a marvellous effort at filling in time. Do we have the competitors ready to come to the board? The winner of the MSD Coopers Animal Health New Zealand Young Farmers Blue Ribbon Shearing receives $350 plus the Joe Saba Cup. This was a tightly fought event. First place had penalty points of 28.7. Second place, 29.5. The remaining 4 places were all on 30. First place in the New Zealand Young Farmers MSD Coopers Animal Health Blue Ribbon Shearing, from Martin, Jimmy Samuels. Congratulations, Jimmy. You were here last night, taking out yet another accolade here at the Golden Shears, and here we see you once again on the board. You're becoming a bit of a crowd favourite with your big smile and your relaxed approach to this, but once again, congratulations.
Cheers for that, Kieran. I sort of do this for the crowd, really. So, first of all, thanks to Sam, MSD and Coopers. No, it's without the sponsors, we all know what's going to happen. But no, thank you very much, sir, and to all the other competitors, awesome boys. And I'd like to say thanks to my brother-in-law Morgan. He sort of keeps me involved in all these young farmer events, and he keeps me posted with everything that's going on, and he teaches me a lot. So cheers, Morgie, and to all the crowd and the competitors and the commentators, cheers.
As we mentioned, this was a tight contest. Please congratulate second place, receiving $200 from Masterton, Ethan Pankhurst. Third place and $150, Brett Roberts. Fourth place and $130, Jack Fagan. Fifth place and $120, Floyd Neal. And put your hands together, making it into the top 6, Turi Edmonds. if we could just please have you to remain on the board, please, because we also have the teams events prizes to announce. The MSD Coopers Animal Health New Zealand Young Farmers Teams Award. First place receives $400 plus the Lister Trophy. Please congratulate Jimmy Samuels and Logan Kumura. I do apologise. It looks like there's 4 in a team. We apologise for that. Please also congratulate Connor Puha and Naira Puha.
Just a quick thank you from on behalf of our team, you know, the West Coast team. You know, we performed, you know, quite well as a team, and you know, we'll be back to defend our title next year. And you know, congratulations to the other 2 teams in the event. You know, cheers.
Second place, receiving $240. The East Coast team, Mark Baxter, Sam Baxter, Cullen Pritchard and Summer Pritchard. And third place, I apologise, ladies and gentlemen. This is always the risk with an instant prize giving. It's the South Island that actually came second. The East Coast came third. So let's put your hands together for South Island team. Ethan Pankhurst, Sarah Higgins, Duncan Higgins and Sam Gordon. So now that we've got that one sorted, how about putting your hands together for these young farming competitors? That concludes this presentation. We got there in the end. I'll hand you back now to our commentators to take you through the rest of the program.
Thanks, Kieran, and congratulations to our young farmers teams are getting their photo taken nicely there, and well done to all those competitors and those teams, and of course the blue ribbon event, the shearing event as well. Give them a hand as they leave the stage, ladies and gentlemen, our winners and minor place getters there of the young farmers teams event. So just a couple of minutes, Gerald, before the next event. The next event is a senior semi-final, but we've just got to do a bit of a test run on some of our computer equipment, so I just see, Gerald, you're talking to Jimmy Samuels and Brett Roberts at the end of the shearing event, and Jimmy was telling you about his new baby, and a proud dad he is. Well, Brett Roberts also a proud new dad, so fantastic to see these young guys come through. We've watched them come right up through the grades, these young men, and now they're in the open grade shearing, and they're proud fathers and family men. So great to see these guys move their way up through the grades and grow up as men and people as well. So fantastic, young competitors.
Yeah, you did right, Norm. Hey, it's great to be, you know, our competitive days have been there and done that, but it's good to have the, you know, a front seat, isn't it, as a commentator, and still be part of shows and still contributing to communities as such and helping out where you can. And of course, we get that pleasure of watching all these young shearers come through and improve and see what they're up to and catching up with them and starting families and all those sorts of things. So it is brilliant. And, you know, buying farms, it's great to talk to people who have managed to buy their way into a farm. I was talking to Matt Smith the other day, you know, not doing a lot of shearing nowadays, a top open shearer and a world record holder. You know, but now got a farm. It's just so good to hear those stories that they've, you know, used their money wisely and all those sorts of things. Because no different than a professional rugby player, as a professional sportsman, it does come to an end one day.
That's the fact. It comes to an end, and you know, that's the what these young guys need to do. They need to set goals. They need to have a vision of where they want to be in the future, and a lot of our young people are doing that. Just the same, like you say, same as. Yep. Okay. Thanks, Lance. So big thanks to Lance Wardell and the team up there, our points team. We're just doing a quick test run here with their computer gear, and we'll move on to the senior semis very shortly. So big job those people do up the back there. Gerald, the time and points people up there, great team, and fantastic job. They do hugely important part of the competition, of course, and vital to get the right results out all the time. It's not an easy task. It's a thankless task, and sometimes the odd thing goes wrong or a mistake comes through, and they get a bit of a hard time about it, but without them, we'd never find a winner.
Yeah, that's right, Norman. Behind the scenes up there, you know, that's what do you call that? The engine room, I suppose. It's where all the points are coming and going, and we're under their influence once we get that green light. And then they're sort of hidden up the back, I suppose you want to call that. And then, of course, hidden out the back behind here, which the people from the audience don't get to see so much unless it's live streamed the odd time, is all the tipping up of sheep. Every sheep that goes down that hole, and if you take an open final, 6 shearers shearing a sheep a minute, every minute there's 6 more sheep going down there, getting judged and tipped up. So I worked out one day, I thought there was about 5 volunteers for every competitor around them for each shearer or each wool handler.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be far off the mark with that, Gerald. I wouldn't have thought, starting, of course, from the farmers and the teams. So we have the green light. Well, we have the green light for our team points people. Thanks very much, guys. We'll get semi-final number 1 up on the stage.
Well, good morning, viewers out there in the World Wide Web. Reporting here from the mighty Golden Shears in the Masterton War Memorial Stadium, and thanks to Noise Productions and Wairarapa TV, we bring you the first lot of champions this morning here at the Golden Shears, and we have the presence of none other than Jimmy Samuels. Jimmy, congratulations. Jimmy has just had a bit of a coup. There's 2 big wins here, and we're going to talk a little bit about them. But Jimmy, where's the name Superfly come from?
Oh, just a few years ago, one of our commentators, he left this morning, Jerome McRae. He's been commentating for the last few days. He had a favourite wrestler back in the days, I think it was the 80s, and his name was Jimmy Superfly Snooker.
Oh, cool.
So he seen me and he's like, right, this guy's got to have a nickname. So.
And you happy with that name?
Oh, I love it.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's sort of, yeah.
Sometimes you get a little bit worried when people have a nickname. Does it work or does it upset them? But if you're happy with Superfly, we're going to call you Jimmy Superfly.
Oh, thank you.
Samuels. So, Jimmy, what have you won this morning?
Well, I was fortunate enough to win the Young Farmers Blue Ribbon event. It's this cup here, the Joe Sabre Cup. And then our team, me, Connor Puha, Logan Kamura and Naira Puha,
The Lister Cup.
We ended up winning the Lister Cup, so I was, no.
Ben, are we broadcasting, Ben? I can't hear Jimmy.
Oh.
Talking, Jimmy?
Yeah, no, I got you now.
He's still a little bit mute, Ben.
But yeah, no, we're lucky enough to win the cup here, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
And with this Joe Saber Cup, I think it goes back to, 1961 when the Golden Shears started, and I think the YFC have been going longer than that, so I'm not too sure. What's the first date on there of the first winners?
1964.
1964.
BJ Kidd.
BJ Kidd, and that's the YFC, and this one here?
That goes back to 95.
1995. A lot of names on there, a lot of good names, and all champions. So, Jimmy, how old are you?
28.
Goodness me, you're a kitten.
I feel 40, but 28.
Hey, not only that, we've got to celebrate the wool pressing, you and Jono.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
That as well, and I'm sure Jono and I was lucky enough to commentate on a little bit of your wool pressing, and we had a bit of fun there, but what do you love most about the shearing and wool handling and pressing?
Oh, just the banter. You know, it's quite a close-knit society. Like, everyone's close, everyone knows each other, and, you know, the work's physical, which is something I kind of need, really. I don't see myself, writing or filing something. I like to get hands-on, so.
Well, I suppose you won't ever become a lawyer at this
time. No, not at this time.
But later down the track. So congratulations, Jimmy, Connor, Logan and Nida for winning the teams YFC. YFC was founded, Golden Shears was founded on YFC. That's how it was in inception.
Okay, yeah.
And it's blossomed to that. And also winning the Joe Saber Young Farmer Champion. So it used to be blue ribbon, but now it's a red one. So congratulations.
Awesome.
Jimmy.
Thank you, Koro.
And there must be a shout out to somebody out there.
To all the family, the brother Leon and sister-in-law down south, Naoi. Cheers, guys, and my little girl down there, Jodie Ray.
Cool. Oh, there you go, folks, here from the Golden Shears for 2018. The first lot of the winners this morning, red ribbons, and if time permits, we'll be bringing up the red ribbon, folks. So congratulations, Jimmy and your team, and back to you, Ben.
Awesome. Thanks, Koro.
Can you hear me very well?
Yeah, I can hear you. That's not bad.
I can hear him.
Not sure, but you could hear yourself.
I could hear me.
Well, it was okay on the live stream.
Cool.
Because that's what I was listening to. Something's gone wrong. I'll have to find.
Yeah, I can hear myself.
You couldn't hear yourself?
No. Okay. We'll have a play.
There was some noise coming in.
Oh, that's just my mic.
All right.
Yeah, on mine, and it's not going to the live stream.
Look at all the trophies this fella's got.
I know. Look at the silverware. They're going to fill that up with a nice glass or something later.
They won't let me.
No, congratulations, you've been on fire.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
3 of these now. Thanks, Koro.
Problem is you have to give them back next year.
Are you in the next round anyway?
Yeah, I'm in the top 12, so I was so rapt about that, Koro. Yeah. And when they told me I was in this, I was like, I've got to have a warm-up. So.
Yeah.
Well,
we could be bringing you back.
I'm hoping I'll do my best.
Yeah,
Thanks, mate. Cheers for that.
Yeah. Okay, Ben, should we just do a little bit of work on these mics?
Yeah, I just got to make sure I can test them without going anywhere else.
See, I've got just static on this one at the moment.
Oh yeah, that's not good, is it?
I didn't have that before, but it was coming and going.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with that one. No. No, she's still there. Test 1, 2, no. Gone. But I can't hear myself.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Can hear myself. Good, cool. Hello, no, nothing on this one. No, no. Hello, hello, no. No. Hello, no. Hello. Test, 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 test. Diagnostics? Yeah, no, they've all dropped off. Okay, and we'll troubleshoot that. Cool. Awesome, man.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that noise was just from the room, the mics and the crowd. So I just turn those off.
Stand at number 3, works his way down around the last front shoulder. Not panicking too much, this young fellow. Belly's off into the first hind leg. Sheep number 5 on the board for Tegwin. And 5 on the board now for Lionel, but Lionel, the belly and most of the first hind leg behind as the top of the head comes off for Tegwin Bradley. Long blow time for Jacob Brunt, last side for Kieran Devane, and Sean Gerald just hops in and out of the pen for his 5th sheep.
Yeah, local boy, take a look at the points upstairs. I'll give you a bit of an insight there. At this stage, Gock still with that one to judge. He just popped down the porthole, of course, sitting at 22. So stay with it, Sean. Okay, it's not all about speed. We've got the penalty points on the board. We've got penalty points out the back and 1 point every 20 seconds. But if you can save those time points, it all helps, of course, and there's lots of ways to skin a cat. And Tegwin Bradley says, well, as far as I'm concerned, I want all the least time points you can have in this heat. And he bangs another one out. 5 out of the way. Thinks, right, I want to run. Pulls out a little beauty. See how it's all nice and open round the head there. Means the legs will be nice and open. He fired one on the inside of the leg anyway. Make it nice and quick on the last side. Belly's gone. Lionel Tomata's thinking, oh, you've got the pen, boys, or you're shearing really well. One of the two. Both I'm not really enjoying at the moment because I want to catch you. I want the least time points. Puts out another little beauty. Kieran Devane down the bottom there. He hits a long blow now. He says, I know I'm on what's known as the hidden stand. We know you're down there, buddy. Long blow time. He's happy. He's just working away onto the last shoulder. This is where you got to do some half combing. Lots of little corners. You got the leg, you got the shoulder, bumps and bits and pieces. And you don't want to go cutting that wool in half. You see that 7 or 8 shots just in and around that shoulder. Now he's on to some of those big body shots down on the bottom stand. Out to the toenail as he goes and says, you're tidied up, I'm happy. Let's do a handpiece change. These are vital times. Richie McCaw always talked about crucial times in a rugby game. In this here situation, there can be crucial times. If you push your handpiece or you cut just one sheep too many, Morgan, that can be the nail in the coffin, as if to say. It's like it can be all bad if you just go that one step too far. So there's a handpiece change on stand 6.
Yeah, it comes down to those split-second decisions. You've got to walk in the pen, choose which sheep you're shearing first. If there's a little bit of dust on one, you want to change your handpiece straight after. So you've got to plan it out, and then as you're shearing, you've got to make a decision which steel to use. And Kieran, he's done well there because that comb is flying up the neck and into the first shoulder he goes. I think if you look really close, you can see a little smile on his face. He's starting to enjoy himself. 6 sheep on the board. But Tegwin Bradley, away he goes. He's getting chased. He knows his sister's up next. He knows he's got to be fast and clean if he doesn't want to get beaten by Big Sis and ribbed all the way home. Sean Gout, we're having a bit of trouble with his last name, so we're going to rename him Sideshow for today and tonight in the final. Going hard into the undermine now, Sean. Ricky Stevens, he's right there, blow for blow with him. Sean's first to step up, top knot off for Ricky. Lionel Taumata dropping into the flank now and stepping over for the long blow. 7th sheep on the board, 1 more in the pen, but it's all Tegwin Bradley, Norm.
Yeah, it is Tegwin Bradley as far as speed goes anyway. Of course, quality comes into it, but the danger for the other competitors is that Tegwin Bradley's a good quality shearer as well. Way round and behind the head and into the front shoulder for Tegwin Bradley on stand number 4. Down comes Lionel Taumata from the south. Go the south, Lionel. Right out onto the back leg. We got my support, mate. Into the pen and out he comes again. Handpiece change there. Sheep number 8, it should be coming out for Lionel. So onto the board with the last sheep and a fresh comb and cutter. Oh, way down the belly he rolls. Wee bit of tension comes on. And Ricky Stevens and Sean Gout back out on the board with their 8th and final sheep as well. But Tegwin Bradley right out over the tail, ladies and gentlemen. Got a good commanding lead on the rest of the field and a very good, comfortable, controlled looking shear there for Tegwin Bradley, vying for a spot in the top 12. Well, that young man, he's done himself absolutely no harm at all. Chances are pretty good at this stage for Tegwin. Just looking at the total points up there, he's sitting on 40 at the moment. 1 sheep left to judge out the back, of course. We'll just watch with interest as to what those points end up on when they turn yellow. And the time clock ticks on, and so do everyone else's points. So they will end up over Tegwin's score at the moment, but it's only when it's yellow that it counts. Down comes Lionel Taumata. Down comes Ricky Stevens. So Ricky Stevens, good strong finish from this man. He's poured the acid on the 8th and final sheep, and he's caught right back up with Lionel Taumata on stand number 2. Ricky Stevens, Lionel Taumata on 3. Just hits the red button. Ricky just a couple of shots behind him. Over the tail, he's got a sweep, and then the red button time for Ricky Stevens. And a few shots back is Sean Gout on stand number 1, right out to the toe, over the hamstring, over the tail, and he slides that one out the hole. There it is. Sean can stand and straighten his back. Just leaves our last 2 shearers on the board. Jacob Brunton on 5. Another couple of shots for Jacob, and maybe turning for home. And up the neck for Kieran Devane down there on stand number 6. Breaks it open and around the back of the head, so he's swinging very shortly round into the long blow as Jacob drops down over the last front shoulder. So a good first heat there, Gerald. Some good scores being posted there. We'll just keep an eye on them as they turn yellow.
Yeah, it was, Norm, all right. And actually, Tegwin did have quite a commanding lead. It was a good way of putting it, really. Had a good 3/4 of a sheep over those 8. There we go. Jacob Brunton's wrapped up. He's done his work. It's now up to the judges. And onto the last shoulder, Kieran Devane with the yellow starting to arrive. So we've got Ricky Stevens there, and he just kept at it. 45.5 points. Finishing touches are nice and clean by Devane. Look at that, folks. She's as pink as pink. He says, I'm happy with that one. Time clocked off. Okay, Morgan, we'll have that second semi-final up.
Yeah, heat 2. Morgie will get him up for us. Heat number 2 in the Powerco Senior semi-finals. Good heat for heat 1. Some very good shearers lining up to hit the stage now.
Righto, heat 2 of our senior semi. Stand 6, Ross Thompson 5, Rehana Hokianga. 4, Laura Bradley. 3, Jade Maguire. 2, Varney Stringer. And number 1, Naki Maraki. Watch out, Tegwin. You had the lead there, but here comes your big sis.
So another very good lineup here. Naki Maraki on stand number 1 from Flexmere. Varney Stringer from the South Island. Well done, Varney. Great to see you here in the top 18 of the senior. And Jade Maguire also from the South Island.
Laura Bradley. Kevin Applin out the back. Sorry, Norm. Kevin Applin out the back. Urgent, please.
Laura Bradley on stand number 4 from Woodville. Rehana Hukianga over from Aussie for this one. Great to see Rehana here. And Ross Thompson from England. Well done, Ross. Great to see him in the top 18.
Can we have Grant Smith to the announcer's desk, please? Grant Smith.
All right, we're just, once again, they're just sorting their sheep. The sheep have been well sorted, boys, as they always are at the Golden Shears. So we've got a big program to go. We're on our last and final day, but there's still plenty to get through. So we know the sheep are at a very high standard. In fact, one of the New Zealander manager, Ken McPherson, is in charge of all the sorting of the Golden Shears sheep, and he has got a very good eye on them. And he's been doing that for numerous years for us, so thank you, Ken. You've got a busy calendar yourself at the moment. And he'll be, he might be judging. Oh, he is judging. He is up there. Oh, no, that might be Paul Harris. Rightio, we're looking good. What have we got? Naki, where is he? Still in the pen here, is he?
Still in the pen, sorting.
Rightio, we'll do the old trick of timekeepers. Well, we better give them a moment because it is the Golden Shears. We want it to... We're good to go this time. Okay, Norm.
So heat number 2 it is of the Powerco Senior Semi-Final. Let your door, guys. Timekeepers ready. Competitors set, go. And away we go. Naki Maraki, Varney Stringer, Jade Maguire, Laura Bradley, Rehana Hokianga, Ross Thompson, all got to battle their way through 8 sheep, looking for a spot in the top 6. Jade Maguire from Winton, he'll come out swinging. This boy wants this title, that's for sure, and he winds his way up the backbone of the sheep on stand number 3. He's the first into the top of the head. Naki Maraki right there as well. Up comes Rehana Hokianga. Up comes Varney Stringer from Ranfurl. He breaks the cheek open and into the base of the ear, but around the back of the head into the front shoulder is Jade Maguire. If he can keep it together, this boy will be a big threat to the rest of these competitors. Way through the long blue he sweeps. Another couple of shots. Come on, Jade, keep it going, mate. Down under the cheek. On the last side, Naki Maraki winds his way up the backbone. So does Varney Stringer, the big fella on stand number 2 from Ranfurl. Rehana Hokianga down there on stand number 5 from Australia, turns for home as well. So does Ross Thompson. Another shot and Laura Bradley's around, but Jade Maguire, a minute and about 3 or 4 or 5 seconds on the clock for Jade, and out it slides into the pen. He goes for sheep number 2, putting his best foot forward this time. Is Jade Maguire, Gerald?
Yeah, definitely, Norm. Oh, they've just come out of the blocks, haven't they? It's like a 100-metre dash. Jade Maguire setting the pace. Catch me if you can. Again, the boys are going to start drafting him. Get him behind him. To the fertiliser works he goes. He's travelled a wee way too from Winton. A little place about 10 minutes to north of Invercargill. Up the neck he goes into the base of the ear. Naku says, hold on, young fella. There's a sheep too. I'm just settling into my work. Up the neck he's trying to get to. It's a little beauty, but won't sit for him. Varney into the side of the face. Wool falling away as it should. Up and round the back of the ears. That gear is entering well and cutting rail. But at the moment, Jade Maguire is on fire. Onto the last shoulder he goes. On to the long blow for the rest. Bradley, Hokiana and Thompson. Round they go, the world famous long blow. They lie it down and start doing the two little ones. A bit of synchronised shearing going on down there. But hey, all the spotlight at the moment, smack bang in the middle. Jade Maguire from Winton puts out another one. 2 minutes 24, a bit slower than the first one. He pulled out the best sheep in the pen maybe for that first one. Wanted to rattle the team, I think, Morgan. Put a bit of panic, a bit of fear in them. Make them start panicking, firing shots that they shouldn't have to, trying to haul them back in.
Yeah, you're going to have to get up pretty early if you're going to rattle Ngāki Maraki. But Flaxmere boy, he's pretty cool, calm and collected on stand one here. The belly falls off. He's starting to flow, he's moving. He says, hurry up, Jade, because I'm cruising along here. A touch more tension and the undermine will be on the floor. Laura Bradley gets her third sheep on the board too. The belly comes off. She's a powerful shearer and she's beautifully clean. Her results, her board points and her outside points, they'll be right up there. So you boys, you got to keep honest if you're going to stay ahead, Norm.
You did right there, Morgie. Up the neck comes Varney Stringer. Up the neck for Laura Bradley. Already been there and done that is Rehana Hokianga as he swings around into the first front shoulder, but down the last side pours Jade Maguire from Southland. Right out onto the back leg. Another couple of shots. Ngāki Maraki on stand number one is turning for home down over the last front shoulder, but Jade Maguire finishing touches the sheep at number 3 out the hole. It's going to go in about 3 minutes and 46 seconds, so a minute 10 or 15 each sheep, and he backs out on the board with his fourth sheep. Ngāki Maraki is going to be the closest to him. Varney Stringer, last front shoulder there. So is Laura Bradley now. She starts to wind into it. And goes Rehana Hokianga, sheep number 4 coming out on the board for Rehana. And sheep 4 coming out as well for Ngāki Maraki. But top knot coming off for Jade Maguire. That's where the pace is on stand number 3. Up the neck, strong competitor. His brother working well in the intermediate grade, so Jade's going to look to do well in the senior grade and keep the family tradition going of winning these big finals. Way through into the long blow for Jade. 2 short blows and a big sweeping blow right through to the base of the ear. Another one, he steps across and turns for home just as Ngāki Maraki steps up the neck. Rehana Hokianga, blow in front of him as he winds his way around the back of the head. And Laura Bradley got her 4th sheep on the board, so everyone is number 4 on the board, Gerald, but it's still Jade Maguire as far as pace goes as he pours down the last side.
Yeah, he's pouring down the last side, all right, right up to the toenails, flicking the handpiece on his journey back. Says to you, a little wee comb scratch on its back, but that'll be judged out the, on the pins out the back there. He pulls out another little beauty into the belly while he dives. He's just going really, really well because we know his job's good. I've commentated on him numerous times and he's in a lot of finals, and this might be his hurrah, and he wants to really stamp his mark here today. 2 big blows up the back. Who's the next man? Hokiana's going to be the next man in there, but at this moment Jade Maguire says, wow, things are just going well. My ducks are lined up. Round he goes towards the long blow. Pivots it round, lies it down. Maraki says, that's not happening. I am starting to panic. He couldn't get that ferro on there at the halfway point. Goes for a handpiece change. Wants a fresh cut. Your tools do play a huge part in how well things are going here. You've got to have the right comb on, and it's changing by the hour or by the half day, really. If the heat comes out, you might need a thicker comb as the sheep gets hotter and then the lanolin in the wool sort of gets more pliable and soft. And when it's a wee bit cooler in the morning like so now, you need a bit of a pointier comb. And there's another change here. Jade says, right, I'm going to go for a fresh cut too. I think he's actually doing that just to test all his combs out at this stage. He's in a pretty confident sort of headspace at the moment.
There's a bit of sweat coming off that brow, but he has got a beautiful flowing style he's built up. Undermine the hand, there's a fast hand, but it flows into the undermine there, right up the back of her neck. Top knot falls off. Laura Bradley, she's clearing the flank and coming down the last side, headed for home on her 5th sheep. Rayhana gets his 6th sheep out on the board. Ross Thompson, he's not far behind Laura there. He's coming over the brisket and he'll clear that last shoulder and down under the flank. Naki Maraki drops his 5th sheep, same time as Varney next to him, out on the board of sheep number 6. Beautifully crutched up, presented hoggets they've got here, but it's all Jade Maguire. Stand number 3, he's really showing these boys how it's done. I think Laura put the fear of God in him. He knows he's got to be clean and he knows he's got to be quick if he wants to make that top 6. And look at him go, Norm.
Yeah, he is. Right out onto the back leg. Another couple of shots for Jade Maguire. Machines off and in he steps. Sheep number 7 on the board for Jade. 7 minutes and 50 seconds gone on the clock. So cracking pace from this young man. Leaving the rest of the field in his wake, but still you've got to keep an eye on the quality. And where's Jade sitting at the moment? Looks average there, so he's sitting in the middle of the field as far as quality goes with a bit of speed. He probably won't be going too bad. One more sheep left in the pen and this one to finish off. So up the neck he steps. Varney Stringer winds his way down over the last front shoulder. Another good South Island sharer there, ladies and gentlemen, on stand number 2. Winds his way out onto the back leg. Down comes Naki Maraki from Flaxmere on stand 1. Right out onto the hind leg as well for Laura Bradley. So Naki Maraki and Laura Bradley stands 1 and 4. Having a bit of a ding-dong battle. Laura Bradley steps in first. Varney Stringer backs out with sheep number 7. Naki Maraki was 7. Rayhana Hokanga, he's starting to open up a wee bit. Oh, got himself a bit of a kicker though, so that's going to cost him a second or two. Open up the neck and break it open. Round the back of the head he rolls. And Ross Thompson from England just having a bit of a battle with that one, having a wee discussion as to how it's going to sit. Right out onto the hind leg he goes. He's got it sorted. And into sheep number 7, he steps down there, the Englishman on stand number 6. Jade Maguire has to bring the head through. Sheep number 7, 1 left in the pen, but he still wipes the wool off the back of the sheep nicely. Out over the tail and into the pen for his 8th and final sheep. Rehana Hukianga from Australia, way down there on stand number 5, drives the handpiece into the flank and strolls right out onto the leg. Another couple of shots for Rehana and he'll be in for sheep number 8. Don't think he's going to catch Jade now, but he's definitely come back at him. Out of the pen, so Jade Maguire up the undermine and the top of the head comes off just as Rayhana steps out on the board. So Rayhana just starting to get into a bit of rhythm this time. Varney Stringer winds his way down the last hind leg, another couple of shots, and he'll be looking for sheep number 8 as well. Ooh, that sheep lets him get those last couple of shots in. Cost him a second or two. Laura Bradley steps out, so she's starting to get into her work as well. Laura Bradley down the belly. She was behind Varney Stringer last time, and now she's in front of him. Naki Maraki finishing touches to sheep number 7. Down comes Ross Thompson on 7. But Jade Maguire, last front shoulder on sheep number 8, the Southland man. Out onto the last front leg, under the leg, and away down the last side, the big man's going to go. Wipes the wool off the rib cage, right out onto the back leg, and another couple of shots. He'll be looking for the red button. Jade Maguire all the way from Southland. Go the South Jade as he hits the red button.
Oh, well said, Norm. Wow, that's a super shear. He's a big, strong, strapping lad too, and he look at him standing out there. And Rayhana, he chased him hard, and he was actually winding him in slowly too there, the Aussie boy. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. He's wrapped up too. Says, right, is that enough? Well, we've got a bit of an idea for you. 48.6. Then the Englishman. Down on the bottom stand, 1, 2, 3 big shots. He's going to have a quick last side. Top knot comes off. Laura Bradley says, well, these are big, strong, thumping ewes. I'm going to bring the head forward. I'm going to play the safety card. She does it, hits the stopwatch, and she is wrapped up too, hoping she's done enough to make the top 6. Naki on the front stand here from Flaxmere. Went for the handpiece change. I'm quite sure it was a very good idea. As Varney's stringer's wrapped up too, the sheep wants to go down the board, but it's his responsibility to put it down the hole himself. So he does. Meraki's wrapped up. He goes in for the stopwatch. That leaves the finishing touches on the last shoulder and then the last side for Ross Thompson. And he's got a 48.2 up there as well. Straightens out the leg, grabs a big hunk of skin with the left hand. That's actually the hand that does the most work when you're shearing sheep, as you're shuffling your feet and the likes. Finishing touches. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. It's a super second semi-final of 3 in the